All right, with all the attention on the hurricane and what have you, you might have lost sight of the fact that this past weekend, tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods went into effect. About $111 billion worth of goods, 15% fresh tariffs on everything from clothing and tools and electronics to, baby supplies, processed meats and cheeses. That one really burns me. The Chinese have already set in motion their own tariffs on about $70 billion worth of U.S. goods, including crude oil, some pharmaceuticals, soybeans, and the like. So this tit for tat is on, and the impact is pretty clear to my next guest, the former JCPenney chairman, Questrom. Alan, the president has argued, it's always good to have you. Thank you for coming.
Nice to be with you, Neil.
The president has argued the impact is minimal here because the Chinese devalue their currency. They're swallowing a lot of this, not you. What do you make of that?
Well, some of that's true, but this is going to be the most significant tariff, this one that went on the 1st. And this will start to affect people in the stores. But what I think is happening is you see manufacturers and retailers trying to absorb some of it, but there will be some passed on to the consumer. But this is going to be the first time the consumer really has had the effects, will have the effects of this tariff. A lot of the tariffs before have been affecting the farm industry. Right. They have been really affected, and a lot of small industries have been affected. However, if this tariff continues to go on and it does affect the consumer, you're going to start to see perhaps job growth slow. You see companies are not investing as much as they were in the beginning. You see our GDP has dropped down to 2% from 3%. That's got to be a concern to the president, even though he may not say that. And so we have to figure out how to get over this thing quickly so we both win. One side can't win the whole battle. And that's the problem you get into. These tariff wars tend to be ego-oriented, and it's hard to get sometimes over. We have an election coming up. And it would not be a good thing to see our economy in a negative if President Trump wants to see a re-election. I believe that is a critical piece of why this country is doing so well, and he is doing well, is because of the economy.
All right, but if it is hiccuping even a little bit, Morgan Stanley put out a defensive posture today in its investor recommendation, saying that maybe you should be shorting growth stocks and dealing with economically resilient issues. This follows on the heels of a contraction in the latest manufacturing report down to levels we were 3 years ago. Now, we should posit, and you always remind me here, that these are still pretty solid levels, but they are going in the other way now. Does that worry you?
Well, they are going the other way, and we have been very fortunate. Obviously, the United States has the strongest economy in the world because of the actions that the president took when he first came into office. But this could change that course. And quite frankly, we kind of talked about a 3% growth in GDP to keep our debt down. But if it goes down into the 2% category, you're going to start to see the debt get even higher. But my concern is obviously the jobs that we're going to lose, people being affected for the holiday seasons. The costs are going to go up. We can live through it. But you remember, they're not into an election coming up in next year. We are. And so we have to come to grips. I personally would have liked to see us work with the World Trade Organization. When you try to do these things with such a massive economy as China, you need a teamwork, not just one country trying to do it. I think we could have resolved this. We may be able to come to some way of a halfway agreement now and then go back after the election. But I hope we have some kind of a settlement for the benefit of our economy and for our consumer.
What did you think, Alan, of the president blaming a lot of the companies that cite this as a reason, either they're going to have a lousy quarter or telegraphing troubles to come? In other words, that it could be a lot of their own problems of their own making, and they're hanging their hat on this as an excuse.
Well, I think he's more right than wrong on that. You saw that you saw the Target and Walmart had good first halves, so they figured out how to do things that would get their customer satisfied. And I, as a retailer and as a business person, believe it's my job to figure out what I'm going to have to do to make my customer happy. That's my job, and that's what I get paid for. So when I have obstacles like this, I've got to figure what the alternative is to get around that. That's what makes the business fun, is that you're constantly being challenged to come up with new ideas to get solved so that you can get your customer back into your store or back into buying your product as a corporate.
All right, Alan, thank you very much for joining us. Alan Questrom, the former JCPenney chairman and CEO, joining us out of Aspen.